Everybody, today is our next lunch and learn. I think we've done maybe 4 previous. And so today Neil's going to start us off and then Katie will follow up. Neil has worked for us for a number of years, as all of us know. And he's going to be talking to us about a concept called oracles. So take it away, Neil.
Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Neil. I will talk to you about how to listen to oracles when testing. About almost 4 months ago, Aspiritech, 3 of us took a trip to Westbrook, Maine. We were invited there by IDEX to visit the people who we work with in the project called NEO. One of the reasons why we were invited to Maine was because they had invited and hosted a QA tester named Michael Bolton. Not the singer, but an actual, his name is Michael Bolton. And he is kind of like a software testing guru. So who is Michael Bolton? He is a consulting software tester with 25 years of testing, developing, managing, and writing about software. He is the co-creator of rapid software testing, which is a very agile-like testing methodology. He leads DevelopSense, which is a Toronto-based testing and development consultancy for about 20 years. There's no relation to the American singer-songwriter, but he actually has a very, very good rap about software testing. It's really good. I'll share it with you at the end. So, one of the things that he taught us was, how do we know if there is a problem? Testers often say that they recognize a problem when the product doesn't meet expectations. So meet expectations is often another way of saying when something doesn't perform like it's supposed to. So instead of saying, it doesn't perform like it's supposed to, let's use a specific word for this. We're going to call this an oracle. Oracle comes from the Latin word orare. I don't know any Latin, so I probably butchered that. To speak, and refers to the priest or priestess uttering a prediction. In short, oracles tell us that there is a problem. So, an oracle is a mechanism by which somebody, usually a tester, recognizes that there is a problem. It's important to recognize that anyone can discover a problem. So when a product owner sends something back to development to fix a in-sprint issue, that's an oracle. Or when a customer submits a help desk support ticket, that's also an oracle. So how do we remember oracles? Remember the acronym HICCUPs: history, image, comparable products, claims, user desires, the product itself, and statutes and regulations. First note, not everyone is working on the same project, so I will refer to a fake project called Roster in the following slides. There is an employment scheduling application called Roster, and it is used to facilitate communication between an employee and an employer regarding upcoming work shifts. Note number 2, although a majority of the time we test software, we can also test other things like websites, databases, hardware, and even the integration of any of the combinations of the above. So we're going to refer to this thing that we're testing as a system. So the first letter, H, history. We expect the present version of the system to be consistent with past versions of itself. So let's just say, Roster uses a calendar as the main graphical interface to manipulate a user's schedule. It is revealed that a recent phone OS update causes the user to be unable to select an individual day on the calendar. That's an example of how it's not consistent with its past history. Image. We expect the system to be consistent with an image that the organization wants to project with its brand or its reputation. In Roster, the font that is used for all of its display text is Futura, a font that looks similar to the font used by Google. Because it's a proportional typeface, it is revealed that the text on certain dialog boxes overlaps past certain windows. The fact that, it's a nice looking font, but it overlaps the text field is a oracle of showing something wrong with the image that it wants to project. Comparable products. We expect the system to be consistent with systems that are in some way comparable. This includes other products that are in the same product line, competitive products, services, or systems, or products that are not in the same category but which process the same data or alternative processes or algorithms. When I Work is a comparable product that has the ability to send information via SMS. It is revealed that Roster has problems sending SMS data to the 312 area code numbers. The second C stands for claims. We expect the system to be consistent with things important people say about it, whether in writing, references, specifications, design documents, manuals, whiteboard sketches, or in conversation, meetings, public announcements, and lunchroom conversations. Roster is designed so that changes to a user's schedule will alert a user within 15 minutes of change. This change of scheduling alert is revealed to occur at every 15 minutes as opposed to within 15 minutes. An example of how something that is claimed is not actually as it is supposed to. The U stands for user desires. This oracle is the most subjective of the 6 or 7, I forget the number. We believe that the system should be consistent with ideas what a reasonable user might want. So, since this is subjective, I have a slightly subjective one here. A customer wants to be able to accept work shifts received from an email alert and have those changes reflected within the Roster app. P stands for product. We expect each element of the system to be consistent with comparable elements within the same system. Roster uses a modal or pop-up window to confirm all actions taken by the user. However, when you use the Send SMS feature of the app to send a text alert, there is actually no confirmation for that action. And then S stands for statutes. We expect a system to be consistent with the laws or regulations that are relevant to the system or its use. Roster is being used at a small hospital to manage the scheduling of employees there. Does this violate any HIPAA or PIPA rules? So why is this important? Since an oracle is a way of recognizing a problem, it's a wonderful thing to be able to keep a list of this like this in your head so that you're primed to recognize them. However, oracle principles are fallible and context dependent. They're to be applied, not followed. An inconsistency with one principle above doesn't guarantee there's a problem. People make a determination of the problem or no problem by applying a variety of oracle principles and notions of value. Our oracles can mislead us, causing us to see a problem that isn't there or to miss a problem that is there. So, at the end of all of this, what are the actionable takeaways? So, I split this into 2 things. If you do not interact with the client, your actionable takeaway is this. In a defect log, I don't expect you to have the time to remember how to put hiccups in your steps to reproduce the defect. But now you just have another tool in your kit for how to recognize and write up defects. The actionable takeaway for if you do interact with the client, at any time when you have direct communication with the client, such as like a stand-up or even a retrospective, you now have a better tool to communicate risk. So for example, Bluetooth pairing doesn't work can now be reworded to be the inability to pair Bluetooth is not consistent with the product's history. And then I will have this deck available to share with relevant links, including a very, very cool QA wrap by Michael Bolton himself.
There were a couple questions. I just want to start out, has this helped you do has the hiccups?
Yeah,
actually kind of helped you, and maybe give us one example?
So the big thing is, since if you have like weird edge casey scenarios where you're like, this isn't performing correctly, well now I can use hiccups to say it's not performing correctly because it doesn't agree with the product's history, or it might not align with a user's desire. And sometimes you interact with someone and they say, I don't think that's a problem because there's no way that the user's going to ever encounter that. But at least you're able to communicate risk, and that's the important thing at the end of the day.
Okay. Are there any other questions? I noticed some hands during.
Nick?
Thanks for sharing with us. This was really informative. I appreciate it a lot. I think as far as what I was listening to, I don't know if I read all of it, but I really appreciate all the info.
Moshe.
Did he give you a handout or?
Oh, so I distilled all of this into a PowerPoint presentation that I'll send to Bonnie at the end of this, and she'll forward it to everybody. But then he also has like a blog, because this is when he taught us this, it was like this is like the beginner course. He actually has an expanded acronym called Few Hiccups, with 2 C's, 2 P's, and like the FEW. So it's.
But did he give you any handout
It's-
or just a link?
It just a lot of like when we met Michael Bolton, it was a lot of like lunch and learns where we just sat and listened to him talk about, I believe software testing should be this or software testing should
So he
be.
didn't give you a lot of materials.
I mean, the PowerPoint presentation will have links to his blog post where he talks about Few Hiccups.
Okay.
So, I'm just looking at this from a word perspective, as in language, sorry. So he calls it oracles, but he's more saying a communication tools then, right?
Well-
He's not actually talking about like foresight or anything, because like when I think traditionally oracles, like they went there, like you said, like it was the oracle foretold, like. This.
Yeah. So the only reason why he calls it like Oracle is because, he was trying to think of a word for, how software testers are able to find out that there is a problem, but the fact that there wasn't a word for that, like he specifically states that when you do like a QC, not a QC, but like a software analysis of the word Oracle, the most common thing that comes up is the company Oracle. And he wanted, a word that would be indicative of, how you're able to find things.
The way I was seeing it, I don't know if this will help any, but the way I was seeing it is, an oracle tells you there is a problem. It's that, so in this case, it would be like the insight in, the insight, this is a problem, and then breaking down why it's a problem.
And the hiccups help you get there.
It's
Well, the hiccups is how you describe it.
Yeah, but my understanding is that the term is about that insight of there's a problem here.
Yeah, right, which ties to the word, yeah, right, yeah.
Is there any more questions? One more question? Thank you, Neil.
Thank you.
Thanks.